Okay, moving on to the 7th episode in our map creation tutorial for Halo Custom Edition. Before we start, I'm just going to save stage 6 and then resave this as stage 7. Alright, so let's do a little bit of another sort of cliff slash stage area here. Or we could in fact do something slightly different. Or we could save that for another episode. I'm just going to create another stage here, I think. Again, the geometry which I'm using, I'm not really interested in cutting any of my own, since a lot of what I have here is usable. There's no need for me to cut any additional geometry and use that, because that would just be a waste. And I'm going to make the selection a little bit bigger. I think that should be okay. Oh, we'll expand it slightly. There we go. So we'll extrude that. Again, bring it up to an area that we like. I'm actually going to lean this one forward. And then select a polygon at the back. You could actually, if trying to get the camera in at the right position is a little bit hard for you, go ahead and just select a bunch of all polygons which you really don't need, or you're not using. I don't mean don't need as in you physically don't need them in your map, but are just getting in the way of what you're trying to manipulate, and you can just go to visibility, hide those. And that won't delete them, that will just hide them. Now we can see our back of our cliff, and so we're free to do our target wells and all that jazz. Okay. And okay, that's still pretty high. And that is probably a result of what we have going on here. And what I'm going to do is just manually just push those verts down. Remember not to affect anything on the border here, since we've hidden those polys. We've yet to bring those back, so I think we'll do that now actually. Lovely. Let's go ahead and target weld this to here, just to make it a little bit easier to get onto this sort of cliff, and we'll flare it out. Push those verts down. Push that down slightly as well. Oh, that is really steep. Just hitting Q there to cycle through my select and move options. And that seems okay. I'm not entirely sure if I should add another raised section here. I'm going to give it a shot. I don't think it's going to work. Let's try it out at least. Yeah, I'm not entirely sure about that. One other method you could use for target welding is using the snaps method, which literally just snaps vertices down, gosh, I keep getting that wrong, vertices down to one another, and then from there you can just do a complete weld over the whole map, and that will get rid of those verts, because although you snap them down, there are still effectively two verts there. And by the way, if you don't have your snapping set up, just hit S on your keyboard, right click on the snaps toggle. By default I think it's set to grid points. You want to uncheck that and check it to vertex. Then in options you want to select enable access constraints and display rubber band, and then really just snap down one vertex to another, and that is really all there is. And then of course you want to hit Control A and weld, or just select a specific area and weld if you have other objects in your scene which you're not really willing to weld at the moment. Alright, for now, just going to select that walkway and this top bit here. Select a bit down here as well, and I'll just mesh smooth that and see what that looks like. Okay, that's not bad. Don't need to select all of that though. Okay, it's a little bit better. Much softer. Getting rid of this excess is going to be a little bit of a problem. Since I don't... oh no, it's going to be fine. I was just worried that I'd be manipulating the wall that I have here, which I don't really want to mess around with, but the extra junk here doesn't stretch out too far into that, so it's nothing to worry about. Okay, that's that done. Don't know what else I should add here, to be honest. I've got barricades here and here. I could add another barricade there, but probably not the best of ideas. A tunnel, a cave of some sort. Yeah, okay, let's go ahead and try a cave. So the way I'm going to flesh out this cave is simply by using the soft selection to kind of push that area in, like so. Maybe have it pulled up a little bit and then push it in. That's my cave area. Well, kind of complete. And then what I think I'll do is have a pillar rising up from the ground and meeting roughly somewhere there. So I'm just going to delete that and kind of go into border mode, shift drag on the Z axis, sort of have something there. And that's not going to work because that's a 6-sided polygon right there, or 6-sided hole, so we'll make that into 4-sided. And what I'll do here is just delete that, grab this and that, and I'll bridge them together. Oops, I'm going to have to go into edge mode to do that. Bridge. Ooh, that's got a little mucked up. Bridge, 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 bridge. Okay, and this is a little bit twisted, so I'm going to end up having to manually fix this. Don't worry about it being so square and awful, because yeah, the mesh smooth will smooth that out. I'm just going to pull this back a bit, and since this is a 4-sided piece, I can swift loop a few areas there, and kind of give them variation, whatever you want to do. Right, I'm beginning to slowly realize that this isn't really the best cave in the world, but for the purposes of this tutorial, it's going to do. If it was my own model, I would do my damnedest to make it look a little bit more cooler than what it resembles now, but I don't really have the luxury of time. So something like that. Select all that whole hole there, and we'll mesh smooth this and find out what that looks like. And yeah, it's a little bit hard in some areas, so I'm going to scale it in slightly. Kind of, no, I don't want to do that. Push that portion out. There we go. And we'll do another mesh smooth on that. And that's a little bit nicer than what I had before. And it looks quite cool, I think. It's an interesting feature. I think I'll just put a barricade over here, personally. Not going to go through that whole process again. Barricades are really easy, in my opinion, to set up. Extrude that. Oops. Push it out. Extrude it up. And I'll start by mesh smoothing the top, or elements of the top, not everything at the top, because I'll push the poly count too high. Just a little bit of selection here and there. That will help. Smooth out the overall shape. I should point out that my smoothing groups aren't set up correctly yet, so it's not going to look that great. Especially here, this seam is because we have 2 different smoothing groups interceding here. think I'll do one more pipe. So we'll delete that. And delete that. Bridge those together. Bridge that together. Bridge that. And finally, if I can, I'll bridge that too. No. Do that. No, it's not going to work. There we go. Right, a little bit of twisting here, so give me a moment to fix that. Alright, and I'm just going to select one edge and then shift click the other edge, and that will select the whole ring of edges. And I'll just connect in a few segments. 3 should be enough. I'm going to push those segments up and out. Maybe grab one whole line, mismatch it a little. And go ahead and mesh smooth that. Oh, that turned out quite nice. Alright, so that's that feature taken care of. And you're welcome to add any more that you see fit. I did say I would add some kind of stair, well, a little bit like this on the walls. Not really sure how I'm going to do that though, since I've occupied most of the space. I have a couple of ideas actually what I could do in certain areas, but I'll leave that for another tutorial. Thank you for watching so far, and I will see you soon. Don't forget to save.